work with Arun Bhaduri, who's the founder and president of Pixm. Arun, hit the next slide, please. So what we're going to talk about today is Pixm. Pixm is an application that runs on your devices that does phishing prevention. It does much. We've changed the name from anti-phishing because it does much more. It is an application, and you will see this as we go through this. The goal of this product is to reinforce the training that your customers may have had with KnowBe4 or Cofense, stop a phishing attack, and be non-intrusive in your environment, as it is not a rip and replace strategy. And we're also proud to partner with Ingram Micro as the sole distributor of the product. So go ahead, Arun, please. So please don't read this slide, but this is what you're I am not going to read it to you. This is what we will go through today. You'll learn all these things today, and at the end, there'll be a test. No, actually, at the end, there'll be an offering for you. So we ask you to hang around and listen to the offering. At the end, we're quite excited about our partnership with Ingram, and we want to make it exciting for you as well with some very specific offering for you guys. Arun?
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Carl. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Arun Bhaduri here. So before we get into learning about how our product works in stopping phishing attacks, just a quick overview about data breaches in general. All of you know this very well. You hear about data breaches every day in the news. These statistics are absolutely staggering. In 2016, the cybersecurity damages was estimated to be around 1 trillion or 2 trillion, and now it's estimated to be around 6 trillion. And while the common misconception is that only large companies are targeted, actually almost nearly half of the attacks are targeted towards small businesses. And these attacks have been ramping up a lot, especially in the last 1 year. So a quick overview on the types of cyber attacks that are on there. You hear a lot about malware, ransomware in the news because it holds you for ransom. And then there's credential stuffing, again, tough to pull off, man-in-the-middle attack, and denial of service attack. These are attacks that are possible, but tough to pull off. The most easiest and the most effective is a simple phishing attack. So a quick definition of phishing, typically via email. An attacker sends an email as though it's coming from someone you know and tries to get some personal information like a password or your credit card information or social security number, etc. There are different types of phishing. There's SMS-based, voicemail-based, but the most common one is a simple phishing email. So how bad is it? 93% of all the data breaches today start with a phishing attack. And while you think, again, that ransomware, malware, and attachments seem to take all the share in the news, the root cause is actually a phishing attack. And these statistics are not something special to us because we are doing something different. It is very common with almost every email security vendor. So how are we different as compared to others? So let's look at the kind of security that is available today. I'm assuming most of you here are on Office 365, just like us. Office 365 provides some basic built-in protection by default. So stops most of the traditional attacks. And you normally don't need anything extra if you don't need it. But Pixm, for example, uses an additional layer of Microsoft ATP for anti-phishing and other threats. So cloud-based email security is a huge industry by itself. And there are big names in this segment: Proofpoint, Mimecast, Cisco, Barracuda, and we ourselves use Microsoft ATP. And these, as the name suggests, they are deployed in the cloud. They attach to your work email account, not to your personal email. And I'll tell you why that's important. And the reason they are important is because they stop a lot of other things like virus, malware, ransomware, junk email. Um, but naturally, as we saw on the previous slide, while these attacks are dangerous, the most prevalent attack is phishing attacks. And these cloud email security solutions that are already there today, they do stop phishing attacks. The ones that are already known or blacklisted, absolutely, right? Once you know there's a URL is a phishing attack, it gets blocked right away. And also new attacks, some of the attacks are blocked by these existing solutions. Then comes your a layer of protection that you add on your endpoint, typically like a Sophos or a Malwarebytes. Now, what you're seeing here highlighted in yellow, we use that ourselves. So I have on my Mac here, I've got Sophos, Avast, and Malwarebytes running. And I've got a lot of other plugins in my browser as well. But all of the endpoint protection software mostly focused on malware and virus, and there's no one actually doing phishing detection directly on the endpoint as of today, and that's other than us. So if you look at this funnel, as the threats get through the security layers, there's a huge leak at the bottom. And these are published reports from Mimecast, Siren, Proofpoint, and others, that their failure rate is up to 15%. This means that out of 100 bad emails that are getting through these layers, up to 15 bad emails could end up directly in your inbox. So that's problem number one. The big leak number two is junk emails. Now, when was the last time you called someone and said you sent an email and it's possibly in their junk folder and asked them to check their junk folder? Now it's pretty common. So what this has done is this has forced employees into a behavior where they take emails out of junk folder and click on it because they think it's okay, because it's a norm. If you go back to 2014, where the Home Depot hack occurred, it was because the person took the email out of junk folder, put it in inbox, clicked on it, and gave the password. So major leaks with the existing model. What about personal accounts? It's completely wide open to attacks. Now, if you remember last US elections, Clinton's emails got leaked. The way that happened is John Podesta got breached in his Gmail, and they used that to get into the DNC and hack other accounts. So this is a common tactic that attackers use to target employees on their personal accounts and use that to get into the work account. And Gmail themselves, Google themselves published a report not too long ago that almost 250,000 Gmail accounts are hacked into every week, just because of phishing attacks that Google is not able to stop. So what is the mitigation then? You've applied all kinds of cloud-based solutions, you've bought endpoint security solutions, and there are still leaks. So take a guess. What do you think is the way that is available today to stop these attacks? It's relying on the employee by phishing training. And companies like KnowBe4, Cofense, and there are many other companies. These are two well-branded companies in the phishing training industry. So they're not really phishing prevention, they're phishing training in educating the employee to identify a phishing email. So at the end, it comes down to relying on the employee to report a phishing attack. So just think about that, right? If anti-phishing actually worked, why would a company like KnowBe4 be valued at over $1 billion? And Cofense, if you see, there was this article that was published that they stopped an attack in 10 minutes. Now, what is missing in this title here is that they stopped an attack in 10 minutes after someone reported it. But what about before that? So that's where it does come down to the employee as the weakest link. And in spite of training, almost 25% of people still click on phishing links. Now, we were talking to one of our potential customers, a CIO of a large hospital. He had just joined recently. Before he joined, the hospital used to conduct phishing training every month, and their numbers were less than 4% or 3%. And after he joined, there was some transition. There was training missing for a few months, and then they did a phishing test. The numbers went back up to 28%. So how do you take that employee out of the equation? That's where Pixm comes in. So we are the world's first on-device phishing prevention to shut down phishing attacks at the point of click. We are not a rip and replace. We extend your existing anti-phishing to all your devices, and we reinforce your existing phishing training, and I'll show you how we do that. But the best part is we take that bad decision making away from the user, and we automate that for you. So let's go ahead and see how Pixm works. So what I have here is an extremely interesting attack that I got recently directly in my inbox, Office 365 inbox. And I have Pixm installed on my machine here. And the way Pixm is installed is it installs an application that's running in the background and a browser extension. So let's go ahead, open this attack here. So you see I use Google Chrome, and I'm opening this attack here. Microsoft did not stop it, and you see the page is opening up. I'll pause the video there. This is Google Chrome, which has built-in Google Safe Browsing anti-phishing as well. And Google is not stopping it either. This means that this is a brand new phishing attack that no one in the world has seen yet. And the best part is that it shows a CAPTCHA before the login screen is shown. Now, there are two major advantages for the hacker to show this CAPTCHA. Number one, it builds credibility, saying that you're actually on the real login page. Gives the impression, hey, why would a hacker use a CAPTCHA? And number two, when this link is getting scanned by any of the cloud-based vendors, those automated software would see a CAPTCHA, and there's no system in place today that would automatically get ahead of a CAPTCHA. So which means they don't see anything here, and so this link does not get flagged. These are the kind of stealth attacks that get through to the endpoints that are actually causing data breaches. So I'll go ahead and play this video here. You see that I'm going through a CAPTCHA, and as soon as the CAPTCHA was done, the login page got displayed. Pixm jumps in and uses computer vision directly on your device and shuts down the attack. So let me rewind just a bit to tell you what actually happened behind the scenes. So anytime you click on a link and it opens in a browser, and Pixm, this is the browser extension here, it detects if the page is a login page, and if so, it takes a screenshot of this page and sends that screenshot, the URL, and the page content to the application that's running on the same machine. It does not go to the cloud. It goes to the application on the same machine. And that application uses AI computer vision directly on your laptop at that instant, and it detects if this web page is trying to impersonate a famous login page on a totally unknown domain. And in this case, the computer vision comes up with an answer that, hey, this looks like a Microsoft login page. And our internal database says that a Microsoft login page can only be on one of three Microsoft-owned domains, and this is not any of them. And so we shut it down. And by shut down, I mean you can no longer click or type or do anything else on this page. And your IT admin gets an alert immediately with the employee name, the computer name, the IP address, a lot of threat intel data, the screenshot of this attack, the URL, the brand that was used, etc. And the user has no way of clicking or typing anything else on this page. Now, I'll show you. I've got Sophos, Malwarebytes, and Avast running on my machine, and they did not stop it. And I've got Web of Trust here, and McAfee Secure Enterprise also saying this is unknown. And in real time, I'm scanning this on VirusTotal at the time I got the phishing attack, and you'll see that no one is detecting this phishing attack because they're all cloud-based and they don't see this attack. And let me now show you a different attack on your personal email. So this is a very good-looking phishing attack, but of course, someone who's decently trained in phishing knows that this is coming from a fake email. But I personally know a lot of people that would just pay attention to the name here, Netflix, and end up clicking on this. So let's go ahead and see what happens here. When you try to open this attack, because it's Hotmail, you see that it comes with built-in Office 365 safe links protection. And it is scanning this link in real time in its cloud. And you see it let it go forward, and Chrome is not stopping it either, and Pixm jumped in and shut it down within 1 second. So what just happened there with safe links? What SafeLinks is doing is it is trying to scan this link in its blacklist databases and possibly even trying to open that web page to analyze it. That's when the attackers know that it is not the victim that is trying to open the page. It is some cloud-based security vendor. And so they show a completely different page. Let me show you how that actually looks. This is how it looks. Anyone from the cloud trying to open a phishing attack today will see a 404 not found or a google.com or a blog page. But at the same time, if you try to open that attack on your device, you will see the actual phishing page. And in this case, I'll show you that here's where the attack page opened on my Mac. And at the same time, when I try to scan that on Security, it's another cybersecurity company, and I'm scanning it through their website, you'll see that, number one, it says it's not blacklisted, so you're all okay. And number two, it could not even scan the site because it ran into an error. And pay attention, what the error here is that the attacker sent Security to a suspended page. The reason is the attacker, using stealth technology, figured out that it is not the potential victim, it is someone from the cloud, and so redirects them to a suspended page. But if you try to open it from your device, you will actually go to the real attack page. So this is the kind of attack, stealth attacks that are existing today. And this stealth technology has now been built into almost every phishing kit that's available there in the dark web today. So that's where Pixm comes in, that it is extremely critical to be on the device, to even be able to see the phishing attack in the first place. And now comes in as to how do we protect the user in other ways. So what we figured out is the way phishing is approached today is you shut down phishing attack based on a blacklist, but there's no one reinforcing with real login pages. So what we've done is, apart from the red bar that you see for phishing attacks, we've done the exact opposite of a red bar, which is green bar. So anytime you click on a link and go to a web page that is a login page, Pixm jumps in and shows you a green bar almost instantly to confirm that you are on the real login page and it is safe to now give your password. Our customers are extremely excited with this feature, and this is our most famous feature, because what they're doing is, on top of their existing phishing training, they've told all their employees not to log in unless they see Pixm's green bar. So one example is this financial services customer in New York that's been using our product for a year and a half now. And their employees are so used to our green bar that when they click on a link, and even though it may look familiar, if they don't see Pixm's green bar, they stop and ask questions. I think that in itself is a huge win in terms of preventive measures that you can take inside your organization. So that's how we reinforce the training that you already have with phishing within your organization. And you saw the demo. And how is Pixm deployed within a company? So number one, for resellers and MSPs, we provide a central management console, what you're looking at here. So you can get data of all login pages. By the way, we track only login pages. If you are generally going to, let's say, let me open up CNN here. Uh, if an employee goes to CNN or another blog page or videos or anything, we don't even trigger. We trigger only when you go to a login page. And you get extreme, really good visibility into login activity of every employee across all your customers. And our single management dashboard, single pane of glass, gives you one single view of all your customers. And this, the green box here on the right of my screen that says safe logins, that is such a profound number that tells you how many times Pixm has protected your employees by telling them that it is the real login page they are logging into. It's extremely comforting to know that. That's what we've heard from our customers. And as far as the dashboard is concerned, you can pick a specific customer to see that customer specific data, or you can look at data across all your customers. Our product, we support Windows and Mac and all the major browsers. And we also support standard enterprise deployment like GPO, SCCM, or any other tool that you may be using to deploy software to the endpoints today. And we also seamlessly integrate into your existing ticketing systems. It could be standard ones that you maintain for help desk support. Anytime there's a phishing alert, it'll automatically send an alert to that ticketing system. And our customers have already integrated into some of their systems as of today. So this is the great offer that we have today. So go ahead, sign up with Ingram Micro, and we will provide you with 5 NFRs that you can try out within your organization. Carl, do you have any comments to the NFRs here?
Yeah, I do, but you muted me.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, so that's NFRs for your use internally or out to customers. But we have no problem in improving the products to your customers. We are happy to install demo systems for up to 30 days to let them test the product. We have lots of demo systems deployed across the country, and we're happy to do it. It's part of the sales process we go through. You know, as a sales guy, do I want to do that? No, but it's the world we live in security. So we're happy to support you in that effort. You know, and to that end, I mean, there was a great question that came across from the chat room about mobile. And this is the number one thing we hear today is mobile. And we have the message loud and clear. And we are in the process of developing our mobile solution right now. The first deployment will be on Android because it is a lot easier than iOS. If iOS was easier, we would have chosen that first. But our goal is RSA, to show the product and announce the product at RSA. And if there is a prototype available before then, we will make that available to the Ingram channel for your use and to look at, but we will keep you informed of that. The other topic that comes up all the time, and that is intrusiveness of the product. What is the impact of Pixm on my endpoint? And it's negligible. Because if you remember, Arun said, hey, we only track login pages. That's the only time we're alive. And we do spike the memory, yeah, absolutely. We do raise it up, but we go right back down again. So the performance at the endpoint is negligible, not even known by the end user. It's so quick, and the response is so quick. I mean, you will get a response back in, the worst I've seen is 2.5 seconds. Usually 1 to 1.5 seconds back to the end user. And the security and admin and security IT has that response as well, has that message that allows them to respond to the needs of their customer. The other question that we've had, and I think Arun covered it, but if you guys have any other questions about it, please let us know. But this product has been built for an MSSP or an MSP. The dashboard is multi-threaded, it's multi-tenanted, and it covers a lot of ground in the use of customer support and deployment and license management. So it is a very rich product. If you guys are familiar with the product Nessus, the founder of Nessus, or Nessus Tenable, said he has never seen a product that's so rich for the SMB world as our console is. And I would, challenge you guys to take a look at it and see the product. It's quite impressive in the use of the product.
All right, I'm trying to look for questions here.
No, I answered
okay,
some already,
perfect.
but
right. Yeah, we can open it up for questions.
Yeah, if anybody has any now, happy to. And Chris Moore, I responded to your question. Did I answer them satisfactorily to you? Oh, you can't talk. Oh, that's right. So don't answer. Oh, I must have done a really good job. That's right. You guys are all muted. Oh, so Arun, so for your benefit, one of the challenges that we had at the beginning of the company, well, there's two, and Arun touched on one today. And the first one was, hey guys, you're really a training product. Well, we're not. People saw the bar system and said, this is fantastic to train our employees. The problem was we were bunched in with KnowBe4 and Cofense, so there was massive confusion about our product. We've worked through that. We believe everyone should have those products. They should use them. We will support that effort. So we fit right into your environment. The other thing that we heard was, if you guys, and I apologize if you haven't seen this before, but we use computer vision deep learning on the endpoint. And it's the same software that Tesla uses. Everyone told us, you can't do it. It's impossible. It's impossible. You can't run it on the endpoint. And we do. And it works. And it's impressive. And it's non-intrusive. And it fits in with your whole defense in depth strategy. It's another layer on top of defense in depth. And and the challenges out there, if you want to try it, please feel free.
Awesome. And I see there are two more questions here. One is, how does Pixm analyze unknown login pages? For example, if a user receives an email with a link redirecting to a proprietary company-specific login page, which Pixm has never seen before, or a website that Pixm has not been trained on. Excellent question. So what we do is when we deploy with a customer, the initial couple of weeks is what is called an automated discovery phase. We discover all the login pages, and as you can see in this dashboard, let me bring that up here. So in this dashboard, there's red, green, and what you're not seeing to the right of it is yellow, which is unknown. Red is all the phishing attacks. Green is all the known or already whitelisted login pages. and yellow is the unknown login pages. So the ones that we don't know about go into that bucket, and you as the MSP or reseller or even the customer's admin has the right to whitelist their known, their already known login pages. That comes to us for review. We do a second level of review to know, to ensure it is okay to whitelist them, and then once it's whitelisted, you will start seeing green bar on those pages, and all of those events will move into the green bucket. Um, Hopefully that answered your question. And how does Pixm handle false negatives? For example, what if Pixm says a login page or redirect is dangerous when it is in fact safe? So, great question. So here, uh, with respect to false, I think the example that you gave is a false positive, where we said it's phishing, but it's actually not phishing. Absolutely, there's no AI that is 100% accurate. Our mean recall rate today is 0.9909 or something. It's pretty high up there. So it's pretty accurate, but there are occasional false positives. So in those cases, that will end up in the red bucket, and the IT admin can immediately go ahead and mark that as a false positive so that the employee can move forward with that web page. And
One more.
One more.
Yep, see
Uh,
it?
the agents talk straight to the agents talk straight to the cloud? Anything need to be deployed beyond the agent on each client? The answer is there are two components that get installed. One is the browser extension and the application that's running on the machine. The extension communicates with the application on the machine, and the application communicates back to our cloud. There is nothing else required in terms of deployment. When you deploy the MSI on the machine, it also automatically deploys the browser extensions. So there's nothing else, nothing else required to be installed on the machine. And anytime there are software updates, we will let you know. Typically, the auto updates are turned off on the laptops and desktops because the person using it normally does not have admin access. So we will notify you whenever there's a software update, and you can roll them out right away. And
Another one came in.
another came in. What's the question? I don't see that here.
Sure. How does deployment work to the users? Is there any automation?
How does deployment work to the users? Yes. So you can, Carl, can you mute for 1 second there? Yeah, thank you. So how does deployment work to the users? Is there any automation? Absolutely. So as I mentioned, the GPO, SCCM, or any deployment that you already use today, you can use our MSI to deploy it silently. And the user, there's no user interaction required. It gets installed, including the browser extensions. So no user intervention needed in any of that. And in terms of the customer, the dropdown that you see here, as an MSP or MSSP, you get one license key per customer. So every customer's account is treated as a sub account under yours, and you will see all of them listed in this dropdown. And you can use a customer-specific license key to deploy Pixm specifically on that customer's devices. And while another question comes up, so there's what we also show here. Actually, I can let me quit here and open up. Let me show you the full dashboard here. Yeah. So This is the full view of the dashboard. And we also give you access into what browsers your customers are using and what is the actual version of each of the browser instance. We also give you the same data about the operating system as well. Though this has nothing to do with phishing, it has really deep implications on potential vulnerabilities. For example, Chrome, Google released an emergency update over the weekend for Chrome because there were a few zero-day vulnerabilities found. So using our dashboard, you can actually go find out how many of your endpoints are impacted that you need to go and update right away. And same thing applies to the operating system version as well.
Hey, Arun, would you like to would you comment about some of the threat intel collections that we do, please, and share with the customers?
Absolutely. So in terms of the actual data on the endpoint, we give you data about the user, the logged in user, the machine, the domain, the browser, the hardware details, all of that you'll see on the machine details in another dashboard called license management. Now, in terms of the actual threat, you can see not just the threat, even on safe logins. The best part is if you click on this details link, you can actually see the screenshot of that login page so you can determine yourself as well. Now, one thing I want to address is privacy concerns. Of course, you get access to the login activity of all your users, but before the screenshot of that login page leaves the person's machine, we blur out any PII-related text boxes or fields in that image before it leaves the machine. So it's just the broad overall screenshot that is available to the admin here. And I see another question.
No, there isn't. There's no more questions.
No, okay. All right.
Yeah, so Maria, since there are no more questions, she was thinking about just wrapping up the webinar and then holding on for a few minutes in case there's any more questions that we can answer.
Yes, thank you very much, Carl. Sorry. Well, thank you again to both of you today. If you have any final closing remarks, you can go ahead and let our participants know. And I think this may conclude our audio portion for today's webinar. You may now disconnect from the audio line, but you can also please feel free to stay online and submit additional questions or comments in the Q&A box, or you can also address your questions directly into the two contacts that you see on your screen. And our sales team will make sure to follow up with you as soon as possible. Again, the recording of the webinar will be emailed to you a few business days after the webinar. Thank you everyone for joining us today and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone.